Hello, how's it going? I'm deciding to, I'm taking the time to try and make a grounding video because I'm in a decent mood and I've been wanting to do one for a couple years or so on and off. And so I'm going to attempt to do that now. So, hope you're having a good day. Got some water here. I'm hanging out at a positive place for me, and that's one good thing in itself for grounding, to just be in a place where you feel positive and safe is obviously ideal and whatnot, and just anything can happen anywhere, but just to increase the likelihood of positive things sounds good to me in this moment. So here are some things I just wanted to share with you. I don't really need to make this too long. Just really to share some items. I would like to go more in depth with a grounding video another time. So I've been hanging out here at this nice spot that I like for a couple hours, an hour and a half or so. And I just did a little bit of Reiki on myself, which is good for grounding. Reiki, R-E-I-K-I. Reiki, just healing energy. There's all different types. It doesn't need to be called Reiki, but I believe in Reiki and I think it's good. So I just put some water over my head and on my feet a little bit, and that's another form of grounding. Water, taking a shower and whatnot. I recommend to get a water purifier for your shower at least. I got one at Lowe's. I'm going to switch it up pretty soon to one I got off the internet that takes out the fluoride and takes out a few other things. But I got one from Lowe's Home Improvement Center. $15 or so, lasts a very long time, especially if it isn't getting used a ton. And but lasts anyways, like 6 months or so, even if it's getting used a good deal, depending on how much it's getting used, and obviously probably the quality of the water to begin with. And that's been really noticeable. Even an inexpensive filter like that has been really noticeable right from the get-go, which I'm really grateful for. So here's water right here, and I prefer filtered water. If you don't have a water filter system at your house, I recommend either a reverse osmosis or distilled or whatnot, and I try and put ionic trace minerals in mine. I do that because the soil is greatly depleted. You have this great soil. This hasn't really been cultivated, I'm sure, other than just hanging out to be a little island, which is really cool in itself. When the soil takes fruits and vegetables, and just the soil, the crop rotate crops and whatnot, but the soil is greatly depleted in a lot of cases. So getting something like ionic trace minerals can be really good if you're eating fruits and veggies in the first place, instead of a bunch of processed food, which I've eaten quite a bit in my life. I grew up eating quite a bit of processed food, some fruits and veggies and stuff at times, but not too many whole grains other than some oatmeal at times. I do not call malto-meal whole grains, but it was certainly very tasty, and it still can be if I had some malto-meal. It's a very tasty grain dish. I mainly try and avoid the gluten stuff now because it just, I don't think it's really helpful at times. And especially if it's the kind of gluten that's engineered to be 7 times more glutinous or whatever it is, unnaturally. Something like that. And forgive me if I ever get my facts wrong, because, that's just life. So, here's and just how you feel. I remember thinking a day or two ago that, so I've heard for some years now that the gut is like the second brain, and I was thinking a couple days ago, yesterday maybe, when I was eating something and feeling like shit, wow, the gut, that's where my food is going. So So maybe some good brain food isn't necessarily just going to be for the brain on top of my head or whatever, you know, whatever. But for that gut too. So what I eat and what's goes into my stomach, being the second brain, is maybe really affecting me in a bad way just because it's going into my stomach, and then that's, you know. So anyways, there's here's some pepitas, pumpkin-like seeds. That's pretty grounding, I'd say, for me at times. I mean, I don't have it a lot, but nuts seem pretty grounding. I also have a banana here. Since I showed the pepitas, I'll show a banana. So spotted bananas. I like spotted bananas because the straight yellow or the yellowish green, it is really starchy, and the spotted ones, these are getting a little bit too far for me. The spotted ones, but they're fine still. They'll be all right. I might pick out a couple spots though. The spotted ones are sugary, and they're like one of the only fruits, vegetables that'll ripen after it's picked. I'm sure there are other ones, and you can write it down in the comments and whatnot. Help me out as much as you can. Challenge all the shit I say till there's no end. If you feel like it, I think that's wonderful. And so here are some moccasins here, which I think are amazing. I've had these for 1.5 years or 2 years, and I wear them at times, and I really like them for grounding. Look at those. Look at the soles. Who gives a fuck, right? These are good for grounding. And these are made of all leather. I think it's deerskin and buffalo maybe or something, I'm not sure. But it came from the United States. Maybe in Minnesota or Maine or something, I'm not sure. The company I think starts with a W, and I think they're a pretty good company. So anyways, food can be really grounding. Also oatmeal. Oatmeal is really grounding for me. People talk about being cool as a cucumber, and that also is because cucumber can be really grounding for a lot of people. There's some ants on this thing, so I'm going to show you this right now. These ants are on the ground. That is called the bottle of sweet almond oil right now. So that's the ground that they're on, and I'm going to put that down again. But this is really good for the feet and the back, the upper back, and the neck and stuff. And if you can put it on your feet, especially for myself, I noticed that it's very helpful for grounding. And you can like put your feet on a towel while you do it, or be laying down, but it will get the oil at places, so be aware of that. I don't know what I'm going to do about these ants, but they're here for now, and I'll probably just go, you know, just blow them off here in a little bit. The ants go marching one by one, and isn't it amazing, you know? Ants are really hardcore, and they're really strong and cool. I like ants, you know, I think they're cool. As I blow them off, but you know, what else can I do? Yeah, I could get a little paper and do it individually, but I think most of those ants, or all of those ants, I'm hopeful will be just fine. They seem to like the almond stuff, and I don't know, I must have a crack in it, because look at that, I wiped this shit off earlier. Excuse my foul mouth, but that's just how I feel like being at the moment. Cussing can be very grounding and releasing, you know, just getting anger and stuff out every time. I don't really have a lot of anger, but I feel the need to cuss, and it's just natural at times, and it's very enjoyable. It's a word. Look it up in the dictionary. Look it up in the unabridged dictionary. You know, they're words. And punching pillows is not really something I've ever done, but that can be another way to release. If you're a cutter, like I used to be and haven't done for a while, see, can't really see it too well right now, and my arm looks cut up a little bit right now. That's a good one right there. That's a really good one. Meaning not in a positive meaning. It was, I got myself really good with that one. Almost checked out if I didn't save myself through the grace of God when I was 19. So yeah, they have places where you can like break plates and glasses and stuff like that and pay to do it. I've never done that, but I've heard about that. You know, just don't stab yourself when you're done. And like breaking ice cubes and stuff like that, you know, that I've done perhaps a little bit. Rubber bands, people talk about rubber bands on the wrist. Hey, there's there's some copper right there, and this is on my left hand. You can probably tell because my thumb and whatnot, or you can tell where the left side is. Anyways, this is my non-dominant hand, my left hand. So that is why I have the copper right there, because it's the receiving hand from what I understand. So like if I had something over here on my right hand, you know, it could be like rose quartz or something, the giving hand, you know, just giving it, and also on the left hand too, receiving some, you know, some love and light from those rose quartz, which is really good for heart and love and all that stuff. So here we have Epsom salt, which I got that weighing it down. I pulled this out of the trash because I didn't feel like bringing a whole Epsom salt thing. I'll dump this thing into a tub when I take a bath, and then I'll just I'll use that, and I'll use bentonite clay sometimes, and just regular salt, Himalayan salt a little bit. And I was using rock salt for a while, like snow melt, and I could still do that, but I kind of stopped doing it. I might look into that a little bit more. Here's some orgone that I got on the internet. I wasn't going to show this one because it's like a trademark thing or whatever. It's not really, I mean, I guess orgonite is a trademark name, but God made everything, and orgone itself, from what the original person called it, I don't know a lot about orgonite, but I think it's very good and can be very positive. So I got this thing off the internet, and I paid a bit for it. I don't really ever wear it too much. I'm not quite sure how I fully feel about it right now. And apparently if you flip it one way it does this, and flip it the other way it does that, or something, as far as this or that. As far as like maybe giving and receiving, I don't know, but orgone I think is very good. It can clean the water, it can clean the air, purify the air. It can, here's a beautiful piece that I feel good energy from, and that I got off of Amazon or Etsy or something like that. Clear the water, clear the air, clear the energy, bring happiness and peace and all this good stuff. Here's a homemade one. They're all homemade, I guess. Here's one that looks really freaking cool. It even has a magnet in there. Let me see. I don't want to get anything. I don't want to get my keys or anything like that. So it even has a magnet in there. So if I were to put it on my keys, I could like hold at least a couple of them up like that, you know. So I got this one. Oh, to give you a close up here, it's pretty cool. I got this one a couple months ago. It has all different types of rocks in there. It has hematite and a shitload of stuff that I have no idea about. And it has a button in there. There's a little protrusion right here, and I think that might be a button or something. Just someone, and there's a spring in there. Look at this. There's a spring like from a pen or something like that. This person's all, hey, I'm gonna, and that's cool, you know. Intuition. I feel good about this piece a lot, and I bought it at a cool place that I went to a spiritual gathering type thing a couple months ago in Texas, and that was really enjoyable, and I liked it a lot, and I'm glad I got this piece, you know. And it's been a little roughed up, and you know what happened is I had it in my pocket, and I dropped it out of my pocket, and then 2 days later I found it by my vehicle at my job. So for like 2 days it had been run over, and the sun was on it, and people are walking by it, or maybe picking it up and saying, what is this crap, and then throwing it back down or whatever, I don't know. But I looked down, and I'm, wow, there's my thing, and it was scuffed up because it had been run over a couple times, but it's looking better now. But regardless, I mean, I like this piece, and I would not mind myself making orgonite, orgone. I don't really care what I call it. It's the same thing in the future. So anyways, here's osha root right there, osha root, and sage, white sage. And this I'll just take a little bit of the stem and the leaf of the sage, put in my mouth along with a little bit of the osha root, and I'll chew that, and I'll hold it in my mouth for several hours or whatnot. You need to check all your facts, okay? Because I'm not responsible for anything that you do. So check your own facts, be responsible for yourself, and look into anything that I'm talking about if you have a question on it or anything. Don't blindly follow anything unless you feel like it. But I'm not responsible for your stuff. That's your choice. So research, especially herbs, because some of them can be dangerous. Lobelia leaf and whatnot. I mean, if you take a bunch of it, you know, or if something counteracts with your medication or whatnot. So talk to a skilled healthcare provider or your doctor, or etc., etc. Talk to a friend, etc., etc. Talk to God. Talk to your intuition. And here's some frankincense, cheap frankincense, 2 for $12. Probably not good quality, but I don't really care. It works just fine. Cheap lavender. And one thing that you can do is you can take some of your almond oil, sweet almond oil. You want to use sweet almond oil, good for massage and good for other things. So you can use that, or coconut oil, or another good carrier oil for the skin. And a person could add, you know, a few drops of that stuff to that too. But also, what I was trying to remember, what I was originally intending to say, and that's good too. You know, you can add different essential oils to carrier oil. But if you get a spray bottle, ideally like a glass one, like, you know, a 4-ounce one or whatever, spray bottle, you know, dark glass or whatever, you know, you can use a frickin' spray thing from, you know, Dollar General for sure, a little plastic dollar thing, or you know, whatever. And you put a little bit of water, ideally purified water, and something. Okay, so yeah, so lavender and frankincense. Okay, so a little bit of lavender and a little bit of frankincense, you know, I don't know, 10-20 drops of each or so for 4 ounces or whatever. Experiment. These mix well together though, and you put that on a spray bottle. You shake it up, because otherwise it may glump together. You know, if you use something like vodka or Everclear or rubbing alcohol, then it wouldn't separate. It would stay together. But I don't want to do that. I have a bottle of Everclear. It's like a pint that I bought like 4 years ago for the purpose of making a spray for my house, and I haven't done it yet. I don't know a lot about that stuff anyways, but anyways, so I might do that in the future, or maybe I'll give it to someone if they need a drink. So anyways, here's some vitamins. This is not niacin. There might be some in there, but this is my vitamin regimen as of now. These are just bottles. So this one has hemp oil, chia seed oil, what's the one? Cod liver oil, and another random fish oil. And then it has a little probiotic thing that I take every now and then. I also really like a probiotic that is what I've been doing lately for a couple months, on and off, is taking some good quality aloe vera juice. And you can buy it for a pretty inexpensive amount. I mean, considering if you get like a gallon, or even like a, I mean, it can last a while. I mean, you can take 1 to 2 ounces, you know, a couple times a day, I think, from what that says. Research that. I take about 4 ounces at a time usually, and then I add 2 to 4 ounces, whatever, for myself, and just go by feeling and intuition. And also always talk to your healthcare provider, because, you know, you don't want to get me sued for giving you medical information. I don't want the FDA to come after me because you don't know how to. Anyways, I'm sorry. So let's see. The world is a crazy place, and the world is a crazy place, and it's a beautiful world, but it's an insane world, you know, and there's stuff all over the place. And I'm grateful and blessed to be alive, and grateful and blessed to make this video, so I can share some stuff with you, whoever's out there, some positive stuff. Also grounding, so feet on the ground, you know, feet on the ground, which is something, so much of this stuff is things that I need to be doing way more of, you know, just on a regular basis, because I am so ungrounded at times, and haywired or whatever, you know, just out there at times with being ungrounded. So maybe I can watch this video and be like, hey man, remember when you were a little bit more grounded? Maybe you should do some of that stuff. What do you think? And then I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm just kidding. Alright, so anyway, so this one, I keep like different ones in this one, because this one has like a lot of gel caps and stuff like that. So, and has the probiotic, which is not a gel cap, but anyways, okay, so aloe vera juice. So aloe vera juice, look into whole leaf and fillet and stuff like that, different types of aloe vera plant. And I think I do whole leaf, but I mean, talk to someone at the natural food store or whatnot, someone who could give you good advice. So anyways, so this, and then I take megadose of vitamin C, and I've taken quite a bit more vitamin C at times. I think I've taken like 30 grams in a day, which is of the so that's 30,000 milligrams, which of the powdered stuff, which is a lot. You know, it's quite a bit, and you'll know if you have an intolerance to your vitamin C if you've taken too much, because you'll have stomach issues. You'll need to go to the toilet and whatnot. So there is a very helpful thing, IV vitamin C therapy, IV intravenous vitamin C therapy, very helpful for a lot of cancer patients and other people out there that need that kind of stuff. And I imagine I was going to say I would imagine I would benefit from it too, but I don't need to go there. I don't prefer needles, so that's because I've used them in the past. Well, regardless, I don't prefer those, so I choose to stay away from them. So we have vitamin C. So about five grams of vitamin C is what I take. This is niacin, which is very good. I take about 2,000 milligrams in a shot, and I used to take 2-3 times a day a lot more vitamins and supplements and stuff, and I'm really grateful that I don't take them that much anymore. I usually take it about once a day at the same time, or once a day. When I miss a couple days though, I do benefit when I remember to take it. So it's so also we have GABA, GABA, gabapentin maybe is another thing. I go after a brand called Source Naturals, which I think is pretty good, and I take 2 of those. I think it's 750 milligrams for one, and I take 2 of them. And is there anything else in here? I don't believe so. I mean, I take other stuff every now and then. I've taken a lot of other things, chlorella, spirulina, several other things. I do take green drink powder. These aren't necessarily all good for grounding. Earlier today, let's see. So, I got a massage earlier today, and that was wonderful. I got that after I left home, and then I came here. So before that, I done some cleansing stuff. I did water, coffee, water enema. So I believe in that, and I believe that's positive for healing and grounding and all that stuff. And I'll do a video on that has no video footage of someone doing that myself. It wouldn't have that. And you can find some beautiful lady if you want on YouTube to show you how to do that and whatnot, and she won't show you anything either. But there's a couple that I've seen, and just beautiful souls. You can, there's people on there who do stuff like that, and they can give you tips. I would like to do a video that has tips and stuff like that, and that's as far as it takes it, because that's what I prefer for sure. So anyways, let's see. So I did water, coffee, water because I hadn't had a BM for a little bit, and then coffee on my right side retained for about 15 minutes. Good for cleaning out the liver and all sorts of toxicity, pesticides, metals, heavy metals, nanoparticles, all sorts of stuff that could be floating around. And then another water to help flush it out. Salt water is easier to retain. Distilled water is always good to use. Try not to use tap water. Reverse osmosis is fine. You can buy the water in the jugs for $1 or so at the market. I get mine fresh at a couple places. One for a distilled type, one for reverse osmosis, and I'm happy with that. I don't like the pure filters and Brita and stuff like that. It is definitely a lot better. It's definitely a lot better than tap water, because it's gonna be doing something. But I'll get ill. I'll feel it. I'll feel it in my throat, and I'll feel it in my energy, and I won't feel good, even if I have something a lot of times that's just like one of those type of filtered waters. So I do my best to, I pretty much bring my water with me everywhere I go, and there's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. You take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. One mudra, and I'd like to do mudra videos, a few of them. A mudra is a hand gesture that brings about certain states of consciousness. It can also be defined as a hand gesture that's reflective of a state of consciousness. I prefer the first one. You can, be interested in the second one, especially, if you're looking at something like that. There's a Kuan Yin, Kuan Am thing. Statue, beautiful statue. I like it a lot. And it's really beautiful. And so that could be reflective of a certain state of consciousness, or like a blessing or something like that. I don't know what mudra that is exactly. I've seen it. I've probably done it. But anyways, I just think it's a really pure vehicle of spirit, a pure representation of spirit, So anyways, I just feel that, I have connection to that, just like I have connection with many beautiful pictures of Jesus, paintings and whatnot. I can't really say pictures unless you're talking about paintings. Just representations of spirit, whoever you think Jesus looked like or whatnot, or whatever you think about him. If you get that inclination, you get that stuff in your heart, and you feel good about things in your heart and within your being and within your soul and your spirit and all that, and you feel comfort from things and whatnot that are of the light, ideally, for sure, because feeling comfort in things that are of darkness and whatnot is certainly a place you can be, and not everyone chooses what they have comfort in. And just best wishes for your life always. So, and I don't know what that is for you or anyone, I'm trying hard enough to figure out what my own shit is. So yeah, laying on the ground and stuff, being out in nature, that's one right there. I mean, I'm out in a good type of nature right now, at least, and I'm, there's some places around for sure, but I mean, I feel better here than I would in the city right now, I'm quite sure, especially making a video. I wouldn't be doing it, that's just where I'm at, and I have no problem with that. I have no problem in saying I wouldn't be sitting around making a video right now if I had a bunch of people around me. There's a thing from the Bhagavad Gita, I believe, that talks about don't practice yoga where four streets meet, and to me that says don't practice certain things, at times at least, especially if, it doesn't matter at the same time. I mean, there are many fearless people out there who, it's always good to defy the scriptures in certain ways, because God is beyond all conditions, and God speaks to whoever God speaks to, how God speaks to that person. God bless God, and thank God for itself. He, she, it, love it always. God loves me, and I'm not worried about that. So savasana. So mudras. So one grounding mudra, Kasepana. I'm not even gonna try. K-S-E-P-A-N-A. K-S-E-P-A-N-A. Mudra. M-U-D-R-A. And Kalasvara is a really good one too. K-A-L-E-S-V-A-R-A. Gyan Mudra or whatnot, there's two spellings for that, G-Y-A-N, and there's another one. And Kalasvara has different variations. I really prefer the one, let me see, I really prefer the one that's like this. So it's going to be like that, and that's just how the hand position is, the one that I prefer. It's more balanced. You'll see two or three, and then you do it with your elbows out like that, and a little bit, you do it at a little bit of a upper angle out towards that way, out in front of you, and then you have your elbows out, and you sit in upright and relaxed posture, ideally. And that one's good for all different types of stuff, So, and Kasapana, however, is it like that? No, that one seems pretty cool though. I like that, and I do this one every now and then. Do you see it? See that? I like it. And this is obviously also a mudra. If you've seen that, typical prayer thing that's called, to some people, pran mudra. And just making sure I didn't stop the video with my knee. And try different things, you know. So the other one, let's see. Shit, I can't even. Oh, okay. So it's like this. You see my thumbs, and you see my fingers. Goes like that. Okay, I don't know how the video is coming out, but anyway, so you can do it like when you're sitting down and you put like your elbows out and towards the ground. I've mainly done it when I've been laying down. So I lay down on my back, and then I point this towards my feet, and off my body, up in the air on my feet, and look up instructions, you know. And you only hold that one for like 8 to 15 breaths, because if you hold it more than that, you'll lose energy. More than 15 breaths or so, you'll start losing energy. And always go towards your intuition and whatnot, and try and cultivate that. And I'll try and do the same. And so anyways, this didn't flip. Let's see if that works. Okay, maybe I had the upside down there for a minute. I'm not sure. And anyways, it's always wonderful, isn't it? Sometimes just to turn down the whole screen, you know, to where you're seeing nothing but black, you know, if someone's like talking or whatnot, and you feel like it, I mean, yeah, rest your eyes, you know. So anyways, and then sigh 3 times while you're doing that one mudra, K-S-E-P-A-N-A, sigh 3 times audibly, you know, so you could do it every few breaths, you know. And yeah, you might feel like a wave letting go. That's good for when you're in a lot of crowds, if you're empathic, and be empathetic towards someone who's empathic. You can be empathetic, you know, towards the human condition, the human being in this world of crazy shit. You know, we're trying to eat and drink and sleep and be merry, and we're living in a chaotic world with computers and electronics all the way around. As you look at this on a computer or a telephone, as I recorded on a computer, it's a telephone, but you know, it's a computer because it's a smartphone. There's so much shit in it I can't even believe, or I can't even comprehend. So anyways, I'm grateful to use it, you know. Okay, let's see. So I put these out here a little while ago so they could clean out, really. Okay, so these are crystals, these are rocks, just like is in organite. You know, organite has rocks in it. Typically the ingredients for organite is going to be epoxy resin and some type of crystal, quartz, whatnot, or other ones as well, and then metal, you know, copper or anything, you know. Could be aluminum, could be copper BBs, could be gold, could be silver, or like pieces, like little flattened pieces. You see those on the internet. They have a very minute amount of gold or silver if they're inexpensive, and but yeah, different things. So anyway, so this is black tourmaline and quartz, and this is a protective necklace that I put together a few years ago, and I got the black tourmaline in Santa Monica, California, and I got the quartz around there too. And then this I got off the internet, and really I don't know why I paid for it, considering the fact that I have so much selenite at home. I didn't, anyways. But that's great, you know, it's great. And I don't wear my necklaces a lot of the time. But I decided to wear these today, and if someone touches your clear quartz and you're wearing it as a protective necklace, perhaps ideally at your spiritual plexus, experiment with that. But that's in between the cardiac plexus and the solar plexus, according to this one Native American book that could be a fraud of the person, but it doesn't mean there's not bad advice in there for some stuff. But yeah, so if someone touches your quartz or you just starting to feel weighted and whatnot. And a protective necklace should ideally be cleaned every day, at least once in the evening. You know, set on some selenite right here overnight or whatnot. So if someone touches this, I've had interesting experiences with protective necklaces at times. Sometimes it's been like, it's okay, and sometimes it hasn't been anything at all. One of my friends has done Reiki on me before, and he put his hand over the thing when he was working on my solar plexus area, and I was nervous. I was nervous for it a couple times, you know, but it was fine. You know, it wasn't bad. He said it felt good. Energy is all around. So yeah, but sometimes, and people are inclined to touch crystals at times. You know, at times they'll just like, they won't even necessarily do it on purpose. You know, but running under cold water can be really helpful in a pinch. You know, you can put this under salt water. I don't know about tourmaline, and water generally shouldn't be, selenite doesn't do too great with water. It definitely shouldn't be soaked in water, and I have put some water on selenite a little bit to clean it and stuff like that. It's been fine. So I decided to try this for the first time, just hanging it out in the air and the sun, you know. And this is a longer video, but I don't care. I think it's going pretty good, you know, for the most part. You know, anyways, leave that alone. So I think it's going good. I'm grateful, and I feel pretty good about doing this, you know. And so yeah, feet on the ground, you know, can be really grounding. You know, ideally more dirt than grass. And breath work. Holy moly! You know, what a wonderful thing to remember. Breathing is one of the most important things that I can ever do. Prayer always amazing. You know, meditation, I don't know if I feel like shit. Am I just going to be meditating on that shit and compounding it in my life and my reality, thus being greater likely to manifest all the crap that I'm. You know, but yeah, if you're coming back to a focal point or whatnot, that's a prayer right there. You know, you're sending out where they're working with your breath or whatnot. Then you're trying to meditate on something that's really incredibly positive. But I'm just saying, if you're feeling horrible and you're all you're doing is ruminating on it, then maybe get some exercise first for a few minutes and pray, whatever. You know, so breath work is very amazing for me when I've remembered to do it. I like breathing ratios, so some of my favorites are 1-4-2 for sure. So 1-4-2 is a ratio of breathing, and what that means to me is you inhale for a count of 1, you retain it for a count of 4, and you exhale for a count of 2. So let's go with a ratio of 3. Let's go for multiples of 3. You would inhale for 3 seconds, you would retain it for 12 seconds, and you would exhale for 6 seconds. 4, 16, 8. There's another one. It can go up or down. 1-4-2, 2, 8, 4, you know, etc. And you don't need